This video is dedicated to Cameron from Sore Hands, so you might say this is my reaction log. Whoa. Cameron is, as he will tell you again and again, is a classical guitar player, which means he's using his platform to trash any other style of playing, any other kind of guitar, which is not the nylon string classical guitar. But you know, it's really funny, and it does have this depth in his videos, and it's one of those guitar channels I've been really enjoying lately. So today I'm going to prove him wrong. At this point, I'll mention that I'm also sort of a classical guitarist. It's my bachelor's degree many years ago. Yeah, I played a lot of classical guitar, so I've done my fair share of, let's see if I remember. Sick of it, and I just didn't want to become one of those lame classical musicians that can only play those same pre-written I'm kidding, but I'm going to try to give some actual value in this video, and so I'm just going to take the opportunity and talk about some advantages of the steel string guitar over the nylon string guitar. It's not better, but it has some advantages. There is a reason why people keep playing steel string guitar, so here it is. Well, for one thing, one advantage is that when it comes to strumming, I think strumming, you know, this kind of thing, it does, I think, a better job because the neck is thinner, and so the strings are more tight together. I mean, the space between each string is smaller, and so when you strum, it gives you the feeling of like one thing, of like chuck. Whereas on a nylon string guitar, because it's so spaced out, there will always be some kind of you will always hear this like drum, you know, separation between the strings. It makes it better for polyphony, you know, because you hear each string separately. So when you play like a few voices at once, it makes it better. It gives you also more space. But when you strum all the strings together like that, it just gives you this like drum. You can hear it in classical pieces sometimes. I mean, people do strum on a nylon string guitar. There is this like Villa-Lobos, if I remember. Right, so there is this like drum, dum, bum. So you like this kind of thing, like you're hearing like in Spanish music, right? That's the kind of sound you want. But when you want to accompany a song, you don't necessarily want this like drum. You want this like chuck, you know, this like wholesomeness, this like unity of the sound. Just one little thing is that I'm talking about a standard nylon string classical guitar. I'm not talking about all kinds of flamenco guitars, which are more meant for strumming, and that's just an entirely different animal. All right. And if we talked about the narrow neck, this within itself, to me, is a huge advantage. Because when I take a steel string guitar, I can suddenly hold the guitar like that, you know, like wrap my hand around the neck. When I'm on a nylon string, when I play a nylon string guitar, I really miss this, you know, this being able to just do this. And yes, I can also do this Hendrix chords, you know, the thumb over the bass. And I know a lot of people hate that, and they would say like, why do you need this thumb here? Why can't you just use 4 fingers? Well, I want to challenge those people. How would you do an F chord when you want to play with the 9th, you know, F9th with the G here? I mean, I guess you could do this kind of thing, but it's just really awkward. And also, if you want to do, you know, play with the upper 9th, there's no way you can do that, right? And there's a lot of tunes that you just need to like if you take this progression, the C, F, G, and C, look how smooth that is. C, F, I don't have to move almost anything. C, F, G, and then C. Instead of C, F, like that, and then a G, and then a C. And it's not just an extra finger, it's an extra finger that kind of disconnect from the rest of your hand. So Tommy Emmanuel does something like that. I guess you could do, I don't know how you would do that without the thumb. John Mayer has this And then in the verse, he wants to do the same thing with the G in the bass. So he does, I think that's what he does. Yeah, I can't really do it. Anyway, he has incredible flexibility in his like thumb. But anyway, it allows you to do things that you just wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Another very important advantage is obviously the ability to bend, right? Strings easily. So this kind of thing. This would be much harder on a nylon string guitar. Actually, it's much easier to bend nylon strings, but they just don't react to the bending, you know, in the sound. So in order to half a step even, you would have to bend really a lot, you know, because the strings just don't react to this change quite as easily. So a whole step bending like would be really, really difficult on a nylon string. So if you do this kind of thing, steel string is much easier. And if you want to do this kind of thing, you can get a really strong twang. And the last advantage I'm going to talk about here is general practicality. So for example, it's much easier to change strings on a steel string guitar because you don't have to do all these ties and nuts here. It's much easier to tune the guitar. It holds a tune. It holds tuning much better. It doesn't take an entire week to get in tune after you change the strings, and it doesn't get out of tune every time you change the temperature. So in summer, for example, it's a problem because you come from the hot outside to the AC inside and the guitar completely loses the tune. On a nylon string guitar, in a steel string guitar, it happens much less. So this was my weird reaction / shout out to Cameron from Sore Hands. I hope you took something from this video. Subscribe to my channel if you did. Subscribe to Sore Hands also. He's doing a really good job, and I'll see you next time. See ya.